Boys, welcome back. Holy, it's been a while since I uploaded a video on me, and it's been a while since I've done one of these discussion videos. By the way, I hope you like this setup I got going on. I thought I'd use my webcam and my mic just so like these discussion videos could be much better quality, even though the camera's not the best, but hey, we make it work. Anyways, before I start anything off in this video, we reached 50 subs a while back now. Actually, I think it was like a month or 2 months ago now, and I even posted on my channel that I see that we've hit 50 subs and I want to make a video about it. So first off, everyone, thanks so much for letting me reach 50 subscribers. I know my upload schedule has been very rocky. It's just because like there's a lot going on in my life and I'm trying to balance that with YouTube, and also I've been a little bit lazy, being real right now. But thank you so much for supporting me, and I don't intend on giving up on this channel. I mean that, and this video, this clip of me saying this is proof. You can hold me accountable for it, you know, if I ever go back on that. But again, thank you so much for 50 subscribers, and today I wanted to do something a little bit different. I've just got my monitor up here and I thought I'd do my top 10 anime of all time. My top 10, alright? So everything here is my opinion. If you're gonna get triggered, if you're gonna get offended by my opinions, too bad, right? Everyone's entitled to their own opinions and people have their preferences, right? And some of these things I might even, you know, some of them are like interchangeable, so you might be able to move them around. Because I just didn't know which order to put them in. But let's not waste any more time. I want to get into it. So my number 10 is Spice and Wolf, specifically the remake. Okay, I haven't seen the original, but I plan on watching the original 2 seasons. Why did I put this in my top 10? Well, first off, I do like me some romance anime. All right, some of my favorites like Toradora and Golden Time, Origairu, stuff like that. They're great, right? But it's like after you've seen like the really good ones, it's hard to find a new good romance, something original. And Spice and Wolf does romance, but it also combines it with medieval fantasy, which is my favorite genre. I love medieval fantasy. I love journeys. This is exactly what Spice and Wolf is. It takes romance, it takes medieval fantasy, and it puts them together, and you got Spice and Wolf. I loved watching the main character, I think his name was Lawrence. It's been a while since I watched it, but Lawrence, and then him meeting Hollow, the Wise Wolf, and basically going on a journey together through this world. And throughout the world, you get to see different villages, different kingdoms, different beliefs, religions, and it also goes through the economy in this world. It's also very focused on economy and money making, just because the main character is a traveling merchant. So it's always really interesting to get that in this story as well. I actually surprisingly, I found that interesting. But that's one of the reasons why I really like Spice and Wolf. And I did buy the light novels and some of the manga as well. Bit of a spoiler for my next unboxing. You know, it'll be coming next, but that's how much I loved it. And I do plan to go through and read all of it once I collect it. So yeah, number 10 is Spice and Wolf. Number 9 is Tomodachi Game. This is a bit of a niche one, and people probably wouldn't expect it on their top 10 list, right? I watched this a long time ago, and I remember this specifically because I saw this on Crunchyroll while looking for something to watch years and years ago. At first I was like, this kinda looks okay, but it kinda looks trash, I'm not gonna lie, and I just glossed over it. You know, maybe fast forward a year later, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a chance, because like I really don't know what to watch right now. And I'm glad I did, because wow, this does a really good spin on the death game genre. Yeah, I hadn't seen much death game stuff since before that, and I got introduced to Tomodachi Game, and I was like, dude, this is so interesting, the way, the premise of the death game, since it's hence the name Tomodachi. It's all about friends, trust, and they play into this a lot throughout the anime. The anime is only like 12 episodes. However, I finished the manga for this as well, and the manga takes it to another level. Yeah, it's very interesting. The main character is probably like one of the most psychotic people I've seen in in an anime, like you can't root for him, but you also want to, just because of how smart, but in like a messed up way smart he is. It always had me hooked on what is this guy doing, what is he planning, because you as the reader slash watcher never really know what this guy is doing or thinking. That's what makes it so enjoyable. I really recommend Tomodachi Game to people. It's only 12 episodes, and if you like it, you can continue reading the manga. Also very good. It's got some amazing art, really good panels in there. Yeah, if you like the death game genre, Tomodachi Game is really good at what it does. It's definitely different than other death games I've seen. Anyways, number 8, we have Naruto. Also including Naruto Shippuden, obviously, and the movie, whatever. But yeah, Naruto, I remember I started watching this during the COVID lockdown back in 2021, where my PC had broke down, and while everyone was gaming all day, all night, I had nothing but anime to watch. And I was like, well, I think it's time I give Naruto a chance. And I'm glad I did. I think I binged all of Naruto in like 3 weeks. It was an intense binge, but wow, did I enjoy my time with it. I think I liked it way more back then, whereas now I'm a little bit more hesitant to say it's my favorite and stuff. It's definitely still in my top 10. As you can see, it's in my number 8 spot. But I remember back when I first finished it, I think it would have been much higher. And that's because a lot of the stuff I watched back then was my honeymoon phase, as you would call it. Naruto's just, it's goated, bro. Like, what else could I say? Like, the story is just really emotional at times. It's got great action scenes, great characters. Naruto is really well written. I still kind of find it funny that, like, he went all the way for his friend Sasuke, even though Sasuke didn't really like him. But that's a plot hole I don't really want to talk about. But yeah, Naruto is just goated, man. It had some of the craziest fight choreographies I've seen to this day. Like, some of the fights in there are still in like one of my, they're part of my top fights ever in anime. And that's like over a decade old. Or I think it is right now. I might be wrong. But it's old, yet the fights still hold up, man. I don't even want to have to name them, but like the Naruto vs Sasuke fight, the first one. Sorry if you're getting spoiled, by the way. You should have fucking seen it. Not my problem. But that fight, and then the Obito vs Kakashi fight, like, dude, amazing fight choreography. And they're filled with so much emotion, and they don't even speak. That's the amazing part. It's just straight hands, bro. Naruto did that better than anyone back then. So for that, it deserves a place in my top 10. Number 7 is Made in Abyss. And this is one I watched recently. This is one that I was also like kind of scared to get into, because a lot of people I know kept telling me, hey, don't watch this is kind of messed up. And for some reason, like, I strayed away from it, even though I've read and watched messed up stuff. But then a friend recently recommended it to me, and I was like, well, fine, we'll give it a go. I'm not watching anything, so we'll see how it goes. And I binged all of it in like 3-4 days. It was like really good. And were they lying about if it's messed up? No, it's got some messed up scenes, but I actually think it makes sense to have all these messed up scenes, specifically with the plot of exploring the abyss, trying to get deeper, and the deeper you go, the darker shit gets. So it always made sense in my head that things were going to get more messed up the deeper you went. I just really liked the mystery aspect of Made in Abyss. The fact that there's this giant pit, nobody knows what's at the bottom, nobody knows why it came here, and the people who have reached the bottom, we don't know what happened to them. They'll never make it back up. I really like that. It's like after you reach a certain point here, you will never be able to come back, and I really like this concept. I think it done it very well. The characters are pretty good, I guess. I don't really have anything to complain about them. It's just the concept is so interesting, and I like that it gets darker and darker the deeper they go. I don't know anything past season 2. Like, I haven't read the manga yet. I have collected a little bit of it. Yeah, I haven't seen what comes after season 2, so yeah, maybe it gets way more messed up. We'll see. Number 6, we have JoJo's. Yeah, JoJo's a series that like I struggled to get into for like the longest time. I can't really tell why. I just wasn't bothered watching it, because man, JoJo's long. If anyone knows, like, part 3 was like, I think like close to 50 episodes or something. It was insane. Don't know why it was that long. But spoiler alert, part 3 is my favorite, and I have seen up to part 4, and I'm currently watching part 5. But part 3 is definitely my favorite, which is not a common opinion because people didn't like that part 3 was so long and it was stretched and it felt episodic, which I agree, it did feel episodic. But the thing is, like, I really like anime or stories that focus on a group of people going on a journey. Doesn't matter how comedic or serious it is or whatever, I just like the aspect of going on an adventure, and that's exactly what part 3 was. We had the boys coming together to travel to Egypt to take down Dio. That's all I needed. We had a lot of great moments with all the characters. Up until then, I could not focus on JoJo until I finished part 3. Part 4 was pretty good. I do think first half was very boring until Queen or Kira shows up, but you know, up until then I was bored, and then everything after Kira, perfect, right? But I still like part 3 better. I'm not finished with part 5. I'm enjoying it so far, but we'll see where that leads us. Anyways, let's move to number 5, which is Vinland Saga. We've entered my top 5, and yeah, I think anyone can agree that Vinland Saga is a worthy anime to put on your top 5. Man, where do I even start with this? Season 1 and season 2 are so different from each other, but they're so good in their own ways. Now, me personally, I think I like season 2 better than season 1, but only because I'm a sucker for character development, and season 2 was peak character development. Like, season 1 was amazing, man. We had a villain that you rooted for in a way. Like, Askeladd was such a good, well-written character, and everything that happens in season 1 led up to everything that happens in season 2, and it just felt so good, man. The animation amazing, visuals amazing. Like, I don't think I even need to like dwell on Vinland Saga, and I can't wait for season 3. And I heard the manga even just recently finished. I want to collect all the deluxe editions, but dude, that's like $60 like AUD in Australia. That's not cheap per volume. I will get to it eventually though. There are just other series that I would like to collect and keep up with first. So time for number 4, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I remember when I uploaded one of the manga unboxings, I unboxed volume 1 of Full Metal Alchemist, excuse me, and I said that I hadn't watched it and that I might just collect all the manga and, you know, read it. Since then, I just decided to watch it. I was like, well, why not? I had nothing on. I'm glad I did. I think at first, I'm gonna be real with you guys, I was like, this ain't it. I think I was like maybe 20 episodes in, I was like, I don't know if I like this. I think it was just the high expectations, because this was number 1 on Mal for the longest time and people always praised it. So in my head I was like, this kind of feels like underwhelming to all the hype that was placed on it. But once I put that aside, I kind of just started to enjoy it more. And secondly, it did get way better. Like, by the end of it I was like, wow, this is great. Like, I enjoyed this a lot. This is definitely up there as like one of my favorite fantasies ever. One thing I want to point out is the music, like the soundtrack, the OST for Fullmetal Alchemist is so damn good, man. I have been listening to this soundtrack non-stop since I finished Fullmetal Alchemist. I think it is my favorite anime soundtrack ever. It's just so damn good. If you haven't like listened to the full thing like outside of the anime, like you should if you're into that stuff. Like, it's an amazing soundtrack. Alright, we've entered the top 3. There's some interesting stuff here. I think people might be able to guess what my number 1 is, but my number 3 is Frieren, and I feel like I've glazed Frieren a little bit, or maybe I haven't yet, but I'm gonna keep glazing it now moving forward. Frieren was such a good watch, man. It was so perfectly paced. Now, people complain about its pacing. It's too slow, it's boring, not enough action. You are not the audience that Frieren was designed for, I'm sorry to say, right? Frieren is slow on purpose. And I say this because I've read a bit of the manga, and the manga's pacing is faster, but I think the anime went slower on purpose, and it was to create atmosphere and a certain vibe. But man, does it work so well in the anime. Frieren is again one of those adventure stories, going on a journey with your crew, and it just has so much emotional scenes in it that really build the characters up. Frieren as a character itself is so interesting. You know, if we're gonna talk strictly based on power, We don't even get to see Frierin's power, how strong she is, up until later. And even then, like, we still don't fully know. They do characters really well in Frieren. Like, Stark especially, really well written. You know, he's like that cowardly type, but except written well. And if you know who I'm talking about, there's somebody else in the anime world that's just so annoying. I'm not gonna say it, but you know who. Stark is like the opposite of that. Stark is written really, really well. Up there with like Usopp. And yeah, I'm not the type of person to have like really well thought out explanations for why I like something, but Frieren is just something that when I watched it, I couldn't get enough of. I was wanting to find something that gave the same feeling as Frieren, and that's why I bought all the available manga, and I'm currently reading through it from the beginning. I'm really excited to see what happens after season 1. Even though season 2 is coming out next year, I'll still watch it, but I just couldn't wait. I'm gonna read ahead. Mind you, FMA on Mal, for example, or if that I'm putting it above FMA, don't be. For me, personally, I could probably swap FMA around with Frieren between 3 and 4, because I can't decide which one I like better. I think they're kind of like on the same level. Both do different things better than the other, but both are just amazing at what they do. So you don't feel like threatened by that, alright? I agree that I would respect if you put FMA over Frieren and vice versa. So yeah. Number 2, we have Steins Gate. Bro, Steins Gate like caught me so off guard when I first watched this, and everybody who's watched Steins Gate knows why. This starts off so, I want to say, innocent and lighthearted and kind of purpose, like it doesn't have a purpose almost. We're watching, you know, our main character Okabe, I think that's what his name was. It's been a while since I watched it. He's kind of just acting out his fantasy of being a mad scientist with his friend in their little dorm, and it's very lighthearted, and there's like subtle things going on, and it's building up to something in the background, but like you don't really clock it when watching it. And some people even dropped it during this phase because it was very slow, and I can agree on that, okay? But if you stuck through it up until a certain point in that show, everything just flips. And that's when Steins Gate becomes the most insane anime I've ever watched. Steins Gate to this day is like the only anime that I've watched that has done time travel. In any media actually, not even just anime. That has done like time travel in such an interesting way and a fresh way that like ever since then I haven't been able to find something better. That's why it's always been my number 2. Well, it was number 1 at one point until we spoiler alert, number 1 is One Piece. Until we got to One Piece. Okay, putting Steins Gate aside, we gotta take a deep breath. We just gotta exhale a bit before we talk about One Piece. I feel like a cop-out for putting One Piece at number 1 just because everybody says One Piece is their favorite anime, but like I can't blame them for it because it's so damn good. No other show or media besides books can do what One Piece has done and is doing. That's it. Because people complain about the length of One Piece, and sure, the pacing is dog shit, I'm gonna admit that, but because it's so long and so huge, you get the opportunity to flesh out things that you wouldn't be able to do in shorter series. It's just not possible. And the fact that Oda has been building stuff up from like the first 100 episodes up until now, like it's mind-blowing when he connects these things. No other story is capable of doing that in an anime format, because when you limit yourselves to the 24 episode, the 12 episode, the 2, 3, 4 seasons, you reach a point where like there's only so much you can like do. But One Piece, because it's been going on for so long, and the creator Oda never worried about having a limit on how big the story will be, it just allowed him to flesh things out that you wouldn't normally be able to do. Now again, it has its flaws. The pacing kind of sucks, but you know, what can you do? Not everything is perfect, right? Even I don't think it's a 10 out of 10, because for something to be a 10 out of 10, a masterpiece, there would have to be no flaws. Now, if we're talking strictly manga, I agree, you could call it a masterpiece 10 out of 10, right? Because the pacing is better in the manga. But if we're talking strictly anime, then it's not a 10 out of 10, right? The pacing does become its one and only flaw. Besides that, man, like, if you sign up to watch One Piece, you're signing up for a journey. Most likely a long journey in your own life, because thinking about the people who started this when they were a kid, the first episode, and it's been going on for over 20 years is pretty insane to think about, right? Like, one show has been a part of 2 decades of your life. That's insane to think about, right? And for me, it's only been a part of my life for like 3 years now, right? But if I'm planning to keep up with it, which I am, this could keep going for at least another 5, even 10 years. Who knows, if we're talking strictly anime, right? It's such an amazing show that I wish people would get over the fact that it's so long and just give it a chance, right? It's more of like a marathon, so there's no rush to finish it, right? That's how I treated it. I didn't rush to finish it. In fact, it took me 1 year to catch up with it because I kept taking breaks, which if you have to, do it. Why not? I did it, but I still caught up in the end, right? I don't think I need to say anything else about One Piece. It's just, yeah, it's my #1 favorite anime of all time, right? And I don't see anything else dethroning it, but that's not to say everything else on this list is shit, right? Because, like I said, not every anime can do what One Piece does because of its restrictions. And that's okay, okay? That's okay. Now, that's my top 10. If you didn't agree with it, if you want to discuss something, I'm happy for you to leave a comment. Obviously, don't go haywire on me, alright? These are just my preferences, right? But I'm open to having discussions in my comments or anything. And you know what? Leave me anime suggestions. I've probably seen most things, but there are some things I haven't seen. So definitely drop down stuff in the comments. And yeah, I really, again, I want to say thank you guys so much for 50 subscribers. It's I feel like I don't deserve it because I haven't been strict enough with uploading videos, but I really do want to keep trying. I'm going to, so stick with me. Thank you guys so much for watching this video as well. Bit of a long one, but I've wanted to do this video for a while, so here's my top 10. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe, leave a comment, and perhaps like the video. Yeah, do that. Peace.